The bell's been rung. Out in the dark, among the stars, the god is dead.
I had a dream. Almost like a premonition. I think there's an attack coming.
My lord, this world will fall.
I need warriors. I'm building an alliance to defend ourselves.
How do you know your team's strong enough? If you can't bring down the charging bull, then don't wave the red cape at it.
You were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes you the rest of your life, find out what that reason is.
They said the age of heroes would never come again.
It will. It has to.
We live in a society where honor is a distant memory. Isn't that right, Batman?
Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my Justice League Snyder Cut trailer video. We live in a society where they drop trailers a couple hours early to prevent people from leaking the entire thing. There's a whole bunch of new footage, a ton of Easter eggs, and we officially got our new look at Jared Leto's Joker in the Snyder Cut. So we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I'll be doing videos for this in the next month and when it comes out, because it's going to be over 4 hours long. So it'll be a lot of fun to see what other new stuff is in here. I'm also assuming that the soundtrack that they put on the trailer is part of the soundtrack of the official movie. But it starts with a much longer version of that scene of Superman screaming during Batman v Superman when he's in the process of dying, and you get that Lex Luthor voiceover that we actually got in the teaser trailer way back last year, a long time ago, talking about how God is dead, the bell's been rung, the cry has been heard. Only this time, the way they cut the trailer, the extra detail that they've added is that you see Superman's cries are creating sound waves that are so powerful that the way they cut it, they make it sound like they hear it all the way on Themyscira. Although I don't know that that's the case though, because when you see that big temple falling into the ocean, I think that's actually from the Steppenwolf attack and not from Superman's cries when he's dying during Batman v Superman. It's just the way they cut the trailer that makes it seem like it's happening that way. I believe the actual Steppenwolf attack still happens during the same time period as it did during the theatrical cut. Still pretty early in the movie when Steppenwolf arrives and start going around stealing all the mother boxes to combine them so they can start taking over the Earth again. But I believe the person that's standing on the cliff face here is supposed to be Hippolyta. There's some of that same Batman voiceover that we got in all the original theatrical cut trailers where he talks about, I have a dream, and then it's basically the same conversation when he talks about the attack. He's talking about the events of the nightmare scene that he saw during Batman v Superman, but he's telling the other members of the Justice League and Alfred. And I'm not sure if a lot of this nightmare footage was originally shot when they were shooting Batman v Superman, or if it's all additional stuff that they did while they were filming Justice League. Because originally, I believe that this was all supposed to happen a little bit later in the timeline, but then when they told Zack Snyder that he wasn't going to get multiple Justice League films, I think a long time ago he changed some of his plans and then started adding the nightmare stuff to Batman v Superman. I think along the years, there were like 10 or 15 different versions of what his 5-movie plan was going to be inside DC films. But this time when they go across the landscape, you see more parademons flying around, you see Darkseid's ships just strip mining Earth of all of its resources. That's basically what he does, going around conquering planets in the universe. He uses other planets from the universe to provide resources for Apocalypse to fuel his engines of war more and more. Then they go to the Greek temple where Wonder Woman is investigating the site where Hippolyta shot the arrow from Justice League. There was a version of that in the theatrical cut where she basically fires the warning arrow. But I believe thousands of years ago, during the events of that Darkseid War flashback, Wonder Woman had not been born yet, or if she had, she was just like a tiny little baby, because all the Greek gods are still alive, so they haven't had their civil war yet where Ares goes around killing the rest of them. We got a version of this scene last year when Zack Snyder started dropping all those teasers, but as you can see, it just tells the story of that Darkseid War, where you have all the tribes of man, you have the Atlanteans, you have the Amazonians all coming together with some of the Green Lanterns to defeat Uxas before he had taken the name Darkseid and taken the Omega Force. Like you see him with the Omega symbol upside down, the indentation on his chest, but then we do actually get some scenes of him in his actual costume. I'm not totally sure if this is actually happening on Apocalypse or if this is happening during the nightmare scene and it's from the future alternate timeline where he's taken over the Earth. But the character on the left is Darkseid. We've seen him in previous trailers. The character on the right, the female character, obviously is Granny Goodness. Maybe we'll see some of the Furies during the movie in the background. We get a very different version of the scene where Steppenwolf starts putting all the mother boxes together. It looks like he summons a visage of Darkseid and starts communicating with him. There was a very different explainer for what was going on with the mother boxes when the theatrical cut came out. I don't know if that's going to be the same for the mother boxes in the Snyder cut, so we'll just wait and see, because we don't see Steppenwolf in the trailer referring to the mother boxes themselves as mother. The whole explainer for the theatrical cut is the reason why he kept calling the mother boxes mother is because they contain the soul of his mother, who was supposed to be Hegra, which is a little bit weird because Hegra is actually Darkseid's mother, and Steppenwolf is supposed to be his uncle. But the reason why he called the three mother boxes the Unity is because he was going to unify her soul and use her power to take over the Earth. But the way Zack Snyder explains it in the Snyder cut, we see more of the actual anti-life equation from the comics, so they didn't really get into the anti-life equation during the theatrical cut. In the whole relationship between Steppenwolf and Darkseid during the Snyder cut is that Steppenwolf is basically trying to get back in Darkseid's good graces so that he can come back to Apocalypse, because up to this point for a while he's been living in exile because of some failures that he suffered a long time ago. This is just the altered version of that scene of him attacking all the Amazonians, stealing their mother box. There's a slightly different version of that scene of Batman going to recruit Aquaman. Then we get a slightly different version of the scene of Wonder Woman saving all those people in London from that bomb. And I believe there's supposed to be a ton more Aquaman stuff going on because Vulko was originally in the cut before they took him out. Now he's obviously back in because the Snyder cut includes all the stuff that he wanted to put in the movie. I believe a lot of these extra scenes during this part of the storyline are just to give more context to his relationship with Atlantis when he goes back to get his armor and his mother's trident. It's a little hard to tell, but I believe this new scene of Cyborg is from the Nightmare scene because he's actually one of the people that helped send Flash back in time. There's this whole time travel plot that they were going to get into during the Justice League sequels, where they send the Flash back in time to warn Batman to save Lois Lane so that they can stop Superman from falling to Darkseid in the anti-life equation. The way Zack Snyder explained it too, back during DC Fandom last year, is that we would see some quote-unquote new abilities from the Flash. In the way he talked about it implied we would actually see him time travel during the movie, and that would sort of help set up the idea of what's going on with Flashpoint, him traveling the multiverse, just a lot of extra abilities that we'll see during the Flash movie as well. These are just more scenes from the final battle with them all attacking Steppenwolf's base. I believe this part of the movie is also supposed to be very, very different in the way that it goes down. We get the brand new line of dialogue from Alfred talking about waving the red cape, so to speak, Superman's red cape at the bull, who is Steppenwolf, although you could also think of Darkseid as well. Really, Darkseid is the threat from the Nightmare scene that Batman is thinking about, but Steppenwolf is the more obvious, more immediate threat during the movie. This is the new version of the resurrection scene in the Kryptonian ship. I believe this is also supposed to go down in a very different way than it did during the theatrical cut as well. I believe this scene of Cyborg, when he's whole again, is visualizing this scene, like the scene with all the missiles from the previous trailers that we've seen. So he's actually Cyborg at this point, but he's just using his abilities to visualize this scene. All these scenes of the Flash saving Iris West, some of you probably seen either in the leaked scenes from when the theatrical cut came out, because there was a whole bunch of deleted stuff that just leaked out right after the movie hit theaters. There were also some bits from this in the earlier teaser trailers from last year as well. I'm not totally sure if they're going to recast Iris West or if they're using this same actress when the Flash movie comes out. But they're going to be filming that pretty soon. They've confirmed that Ben Affleck's Batman is going to show up and give Flash his new time travel, his new multiverse suit, as well as Michael Keaton's Batman obviously showing up. They've been hyping him up for the last 6 months or so. Remember, the whole way they're explaining that is that Ben Affleck's Batman is still going to be the Batman of this Earth, the Justice League Earth. Michael Keaton's Batman will come from what we're thinking of as the Burtonverse Earth. There's a very Man of Steel looking scene of Superman taking off in the Kryptonian ship wearing the black suit after he's come back. I believe this was originally footage that Zack Snyder himself shot for the Justice League that he was going to release before he left the project. So even though it looks just like it's from Man of Steel, it was new scenes that he shot for Justice League. More scenes of Steppenwolf attacking Batman's tank. We also get a bunch more scenes of the actual tank itself. It looks like it's right out of The Dark Knight Returns. Classic Frank Miller story inspired a lot of Batman v Superman as well. This is another scene of Cyborg activating the mother box and getting a vision of Darkseid. This scene of the black suit Superman looks like he's going all ham on Steppenwolf during that big final battle. I love the way Superman looks during this. Notice how much better his face looks than it did during the theatrical cut. No weird mustache face. Zack Snyder made a big deal about that last year when they announced the Snyder Cut was going to be a thing. There will be no moments during this movie where my Superman, my Henry Cavill, has a mustache. Most of you probably know the saga of the mustache. It was all because of the reshoots they did for Justice League when Joss Whedon came on, and the people at Paramount wouldn't let him shave his mustache because he was still in the middle of filming Mission Impossible when that was happening. Mustache impossible. So let's all give a big round of applause to the fact that they've gotten rid of any trace of mustache during this movie. The way Henry Cavill explains it, though, is that all the footage of him as Superman in the Snyder Cut was filmed way back when Zack Snyder was first working on the movie. He did not participate in any of the additional photography that they did last year, like the stuff where they shot the new Joker scenes. So all this was originally supposed to be Superman's arc during the movie. It's not brand new stuff that he created when he was doing the Snyder Cut. Then I love that tag scene with the Joker talking to Batman during the nightmare scene. So obviously that is happening during that post-apocalyptic future, and it's a much older version of the Joker. Way more city miles on both of them. Zack Snyder said that their relationship will be so much more different. In the way they talk, it makes it sound like they put their history behind them and they're now focused on Darkseid. Like they're actually working together to take down Darkseid. Batman and the Joker team up, that just kind of blows my mind. Although I'm assuming that they're probably not best friends or anything like that, just temporary allies because there's a bigger threat. But it is weird to hear the Joker talking about honor. It'll be interesting to see what the other longer versions of the scenes are during the actual movie. But notably, a lot of you are wondering why there's no Martian Manhunter in here. I believe the way they accomplish Martian Manhunter is through motion capture, but there is Martian Manhunter in the actual Snyder Cut. As they say, the whole movie is going to be dropping March 18th. It's going to be over 4 hours long, so I'll try to figure out how I'm going to do my videos for that because it's going to be one long Easter egg breakdown video. I might have to break it into 2 videos. But also a big reminder, that's basically the Thursday before Falcon and Winter Soldier releases. So we're going to get the Snyder Cut on that Thursday. I don't know if they're going to release it at midnight the night before or if it's going to be at 9 in the morning like they did with Wonder Woman 1984. Then the day after that, the Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 1 releases. So it is going to be crazy in the next month or so. And after the Snyder Cut releases, we'll probably see them start to drop teasers and trailers for the Suicide Squad movie. James Gunn's been hyping it up, like just you wait, we're going to start releasing trailers eventually. But everyone just post all your reactions in the comments below, and if there are any Easter eggs you spotted in the trailer that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. Zack Snyder's always really good about dropping extra scenes and footage and teasers, so there'll be more of that, more footage for the movie before it actually comes out. So of course I'll do videos for any new stuff that he releases. Everyone click here for all those other DC fandom trailers like the Batman trailer, the other Justice League Snyder Cut trailer with the different footage, and click here for my brand new WandaVision Episode 7 trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and happy Valentine's Day!